I am not in the business of selling delusion. What is going on, everyone, and welcome to episode 88 of the Foundation First Fitness Show with Babak Owen. Today, we're going to be talking about how to master that at-home gym workout and how to really improve that skill. Before we get into that topic, I wanted to touch on something that had kind of come up. I'd gotten a little bit of backlash and gotten a bit of, I guess, hot water, if you would, about some comments I made back in episode 85. And I think it's probably best if I kind of clear the air on that, touch on that a bit, so everyone kind of has some context for those of you watching or listening, have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about. But before I touch on that, question for everyone listening and everyone watching: what have you been doing in the past week? How has your workouts changed? Have you started doing stuff that you didn't normally think you would do? Are you exploring new avenues to train? Are you using different types of equipment you never thought you would use? How consistent are you? Let's start talking about that. I really want to get that discussion going down in the discussion section. I think it's really interesting to get people kind of going on that stuff, get an idea of what everyone's doing. But getting back into the topic and the issue at hand here, I think I'd gotten some backlash on it, and I wanted to really clear the air because I think it was something that had kind of come up, maybe was misconstrued as something where I was saying that, home gyms and they're not really, equipmentless training is not good and it's bad for you and it's not going to do anything and you're not going to get results. Or, you need a large amount of equipment to do it. You need a full facility with a bunch of equipment with everything you need to get an effective workout in, this, that, the other thing. I don't think, however that was understood, let me clear the air on that. First and foremost, anyone who knows me, who has ever walked through these doors, who's ever worked with me over the last 11 years knows I am not, and I will repeat this, I am not in the business of selling delusion. I want everyone to really understand that. I'm not trying to say that in a malicious way. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not in a position to try to pump out content for people that will put them put them right on the path of getting hurt. Everyone knows that. If you listen to any of my last 87 episodes, in some way, shape, or form, I mentioned technique. My entire podcast is called the Foundation First Fitness Show. Foundation first, meaning build out foundation before you move forward. Here's what I mean by home workouts are not great. And I had this discussion. I reached out to a friend of mine who is a strength coach with the Toronto Maple Leafs, who's an NHL team, been in the field for the better part of 18 years. So I think he has some credibility and he has some knowledge in the realm of training and risk and trying to be more risk adverse to training, because he does deal with multi-million-dollar athletes, and putting them in harm's way is never going to keep him in the field for longer than a couple of weeks. So here's my standpoint on home training. I know a lot of individuals who are sitting here or listening or watching will think I'm not part of that population where I struggle with exercises. Unfortunately, many people are. During this quarantine time, a lot of individuals were never really exposed to, proper technique. I've always had the ability to use, really helpful pieces of equipment to bridge the gap in terms of their capacity. So if you can't do a full push-up, you would either do it from your knees or you would do it from, let's say off a bench or off a higher stand or off the rack or something like that. You would have some way of making that adjustments. You do have that ability at home. Sometimes it's not as favorable. That's one exercise that can get away with it. But on the other hand, when you're doing something like a row, if you're doing it from a pull-up position, or you're trying to do a lower body exercise like a lunge, if your technique is off, even by the slightest bit, the only way to really make those home workouts really, really challenging is by cranking up the amount of reps you're doing. So the amount of repetitions or the volume of the workout that you're doing, because you don't have that resistance that's going to help bridge that gap. Having said that, if you don't master the technique, whether it be with a push-up or a lunge, if you don't really have those eyes giving you some feedback on what you're doing in the correct technique, you will walk into a path of injury. I think that's kind of fair game. I don't think there's any secret there. If your technique's not on point, your likelihood of getting injured is very high. For anyone who's ever seen some of my stuff, who's ever worked with me, who's ever seen me work with athletes, you know very well that my ability to see poor technique is very good. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I'm up there on the echelon of people that can actually dictate what's going on wrong with your body and how you're moving. The other thing I'm really not going to be a fan of is poor technique and kind of just letting it go, kind of brushing it off and saying, at least they're getting activity in. I don't think that's a fair statement to make, especially not in these times. And here's where my argument is. Let's play devil's advocate here and say, all right, I let you do it. I let you guys get that workout in. I don't really have any control. You guys can do whatever you want. But assuming I allow the technique to kind of go off the rails a bit, and I allow people to just kind of explore that technique a little bit more than they would have liked, than I would have liked. And, let's say you're doing a push-up. In your mind, you might be doing a push-up great, but it's very easily just to touch on something. And when you're watching a push-up, have someone watch your push-up, have someone film it from the side. Actually film it yourself. Put your phone up there, film you yourself doing a push-up from the side. If you're doing a push-up and your neck droops forward, that means you're getting the turkey neck. For those of you watching on YouTube, this thing happening is like, come down. If my neck droops forward like that and my neck shoots towards the ground, or my hips dropping to the ground in unison with my head dropping, that is the fastest way for you to get shoulder pain. That is an indication that your body is not stable and strong enough to handle that specific exercise. Most people are unaware of that and do it anyway because they don't have that visual feedback from someone else telling them, you're not ready to do this exercise. Let's take another exercise. Let's take the lunge. If your knee caves in and you're not aligned, or your foot or your heel comes up off the ground every time you're doing a lunge, pressure is going into that knee. So let's take those two scenarios, a poor technique push-up, poor technique lunge. Chances are you're probably going to get shoulder pain or knee pain. Now, if you get shoulder pain and you develop a tendonitis and the problem gets a little severe, well, I hate to break it to you, but you're probably not going to want to go to an emergency room to get a doctor to take a look at it because you're probably going to be there for a really long time. You're probably not going to get seen at all. They're going to tell you to go home. Second thing, if you get hurt and you want to go see a therapist, well, I'm pretty confident because I own a facility right here and I own a therapy clinic. Unless it's literally life or death situation, unless it's really an emergency, they're not going to see you because they're not allowed. So most clinics are shut down because they don't want groups of people coming together at one place. So we're not allowed to treat people here. You're probably not allowed to go see a doctor. So your only option is Advil. And chances are, I'm pretty confident, even if you have Advil, you're probably going to need something stronger if you can't fall asleep when you lie on your arm and that shoulder's just agonizing and it's aching. Or you're going to end up sitting at home because your knee hurts, you can't do any exercise. So here is where my issue lies. I think everyone kind of jumped at me a bit on that one and said that I was a little bit out of place to say it, but I think I was looking 10 steps ahead and saying, what is going to be the likelihood that you're going to be able to get that knee and shoulder pain treated if you are doing poor technique? Because you see these workouts on Instagram, we see these workouts on YouTube, and we're just going at them full tilt because we think that we're able to do them. A lot of these exercises and a lot of these workouts are using high intensity measures to be able to get you to get that calorie burn that you would normally have gotten if you were using weights or using some kind of resistance equipment. Am I telling you that those workouts are bad? No, they're not bad. What I'm saying is that there's still a significant amount of population that, to try to get themselves from losing their minds while they're staying at home for the next who knows how long, are going to try to be a little bit more active. The sun's going to be getting better. We're going to try to be more active. There's a ton of things that are going to be happening that are going to cause you to probably want to be more active. You're going to want to try to just change it up. You're going to be bored of sitting at home watching Netflix or watching TV all day. So you're going to want to change things up. And so I don't think that the workouts themselves are bad. I think that we're probably just not ready for them. So here's where I'm going to put a spin on that. I will be posting a bunch of clips, a bunch of smaller clips until my website, my structured website gets really, and the structured portion of my website that has like all the steps going to be set up. I'm going to be doing a quick version of how to master these how to master these home workouts and how to really level up your capacity to perform these exercises. And I'm going to invite you to start recording some of the stuff that you're doing so you yourself can coach it up. So what I'll be doing is, as I will be posting it, I'm going to be describing the technique cues that you're going to want to look for. So when you film it, you're going to line it up with what you're doing. You're going to pair them up and see where your issue lies. And I'm going to show you the progression or the modification to make it either easier or harder. So that's going to be posted on Instagram in the coming days. If it hasn't been posted already, you're going to see like a step 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever steps. I haven't really thought that much. I haven't really looked at it too much, but I'm going to try to put some of that all together. Overall, outside of being able to see those clips and knowing what to do, what I'm really looking for is what we do here at Own Performance. We're trying to level up your basics. We're trying to make you understand the fundamentals, understand the foundation, and build your foundation. Chances of you not being successful in the weight room, yeah, there's a ton of different things, in your fitness journey, there's a bunch of different factors. The way you're eating, the way you're sleeping, the type of if you're training at all or not, if you're training enough. There's so many factors come into play. One of the biggest things that I think slides under the radar quite easily is technique and capacity to perform a lot of the main exercises and a lot of fundamental exercises that are really going to help you get some of those goals. Things like lunges, squats, front squats, deadlifts, push-ups, bench press, rowing, pull-ups, all of these great exercises require a certain entry level point of technique and control. And a lot of us spend a lot of our time seated, especially now in quarantine, spending a lot of time on couches, sitting down, so we lose that natural ability to understand how to move. I speak to people all the time about this. A lot of individuals, athletes, professional athletes, they come and see, yes, they have their own whole world of problems that they've got going on. But at the same time, it really all comes down to the same thing. You master the basics, you level up your game and your control, become a master of your own body, and I guarantee you that those home workouts will be effective, and I guarantee you that you will start enjoying them a lot more. You're going to have that ability to go and try out some new things, have that ability to go out and try some new exercise and new things that you didn't think you could. But believe me, if you jump into it without understanding the basics and the fundamentals, I guarantee you're going to be walking into pain. And right now, in the way the world is right now, and hopefully things get better, but if they don't and things continue to progress and continue to be dragged on, having knee pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, ankle pain, back pain, these are not something you want to be messing with right now, because you're going to need professional help and you're going to need a therapist to see you. And right now, getting that access to a therapist is extremely difficult and might only get harder. So let's avoid that. Let's start mastering the basics. So, I think at the end of the day, the point that I was really trying to make was give yourself the best chance possible. Give yourself a fighting chance to really avoid injuries and stay in the game longer. It really doesn't have to be that difficult. The trainings don't have to be complicated. They're not very difficult. A lot of the basics that I'm going to be going over in those Instagram clips are really going to cover that. And I'm not trying to just keep shoving everyone to different areas, but I just don't want to sit there and say, do a lunge, do a squat, do a bridge, do a this, do a that. The technique is really where the secret is. The secret is really in the execution of it. Everyone knows that you can sing, but singing is involved in the execution. I can sing, it'll sound really bad. A professional singer comes in here, sings really well. Execution of that was much better. So you'll see right there, you could see the difference. The same thing holds true in the weight room. Execution is key. It's what I believe in. It's what we believe in here. It's what we've been kind of peddling at our clients as much as we possibly can. Like I said, neither myself or any of my staff here or my sister believe in selling, in being in the business of delusion. And we don't want to start just kind of rah cheering you on and telling you to go be active and not give you guys the best possible template to be successful. I think that's what we need to do, and I think that's where we need to be focusing on. Next episode 89, I will go over knee pain. So stay tuned for that. I think one of the reasons I'm going to be talking about knee pain is that I've seen so many people. I've been going out on a little bit of walks downtown, so I see people running a lot, and I think people are trying to take up running, and I see some technique stuff that's kind of making me just cringe just a touch. And a lot of you are probably walking into knee pain right now and are probably starting to notice it, knee pain, foot pain. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you guys, explain how to really work on and get rid of that. Okay. If you have any questions about anything I said today, because I think today was a little bit of a harsh truth, harsh reality, leave something in the comments. Let me know what you guys think or what was going on in your minds or any questions you have. If you want some guidance on some home workout stuff, there is a ton of stuff there. You can also always employ us to do video chat anyone here at Owen Performance, you can basically just reach out to me and we'll set up a video chat session to do a workout with you and even go over and analyze that technique. As I mentioned, we're really here to help you guys master that technique. So if you guys have any questions, send them our way. And until that next time, guys, stay healthy, stay safe, and continue to build that foundation. Take care, guys.